Yes, and welcome back to the Ash Williams Show. My name is Ash Williams, and I am fired up. How the fuck are you? Hope you're well. We've had a big week in podcasting. As Eddie Maguire used to say on the Footy Show, it's been a big week in football. And then he'd whack his hands together, and Sam Newman would show you his dick. Big shout out to Sammy Newman. If you're not from Victoria, you'll have no idea who that is. But let's hope he gets on the golf course soon. Okay, shout out to you, Sammy Newman. And shout out to Nathan Cavalieri for doing his very, very last introduction. Now, we had a monster ep last week. Arguably our biggest and best. Got this text on the hotline. Sorry for the late text, Ash. I've just listened to Better Call Paul, and it's an unbelievably good episode. It's almost true crime. Have a good one. Can't wait to hear the next ep. P.S. The Patreon is great too. Cheers for that, James. Appreciate that. We've got another text here. Ash just listened to Better Call Paul. This may be your magnum opus. Forget being murdered by Carol. Paul is the dark horse in that race. He says he lives with his mum, but 100% she's stuffed in a barrel in the shed. I can sense a full Misery-style scenario forming if you ever meet Paul in person. Imagine the podcast awards. I'm very fired up. From Showbiz Shigsy. Now, Shigsy, it was a big ep. I guess we'll touch on this now. Obviously, we spoke to Carol. We spoke to Paul. I want to give a shout out to Carol. She ended up being a lovely, lovely lady. And I've got an update on Carol that doesn't end well. Hang around 5 minutes for that, maybe 6. Actually, you know what? We got sent this from Stu, our musical director, with regards to last week's ep. It's a brand new single. It's called Ash's Murder Song. I'm now doing a podcast about my impending murder. This may be our final episode because I may be murdered. Carol's going to murder me. Carol's going to murder me. Carol's going to murder me. And she's fired up, that's for sure. Carol's going to murder me.
I like to do different things.
Carol's going to murder me.
Whereabouts are you?
Carol's going to murder me.
Yeah, I've got a photo and everything.
Carol's going to murder me.
Said I gave a pretty good punch and a kick.
Carol's going to murder me.
A fire that happened or something like that.
Carol's going to murder me. Wow.
I'm a bit knackered now.
Unrelenting erection.
You've probably got 500 in there, have you?
Look, back in my glory days, I had 500. Doing the workout.
If that happened, I can tell you that now.
Mate. Carol's going to murder me.
Just a joke.
But if Carol doesn't murder me, I've got someone who will. I've got this guy called Paul.
How you going?
Will Paul pop my cherry?
Yeah.
Will Paul pop my cherry?
Yeah.
Will Paul pop my cherry?
Yeah.
Will Paul pop my cherry?
Oh, it's playing around.
Paul's going to murder me.
Yeah.
Nathan Cavalieri is going to murder me. Daryl Summers is going to murder me. Wilbur Wilde is going to murder me. Just like JC, I will rise again. I will rise again. This podcast is heading in the right direction. Stu, I think that might be your best work. Okay, incredible stuff. We're going to put that song on iTunes. It's called Ash's Murder Song. It will be incredibly eerie, though, if I do get murdered. But the podcast awards, that will be a shoo-in now that we've got the song. The live cull on Instagram, okay, that is happening on Monday or Tuesday. And so it's going to be a live Instagram cull, okay? So I think by now, if you're listening to this podcast, there will be a post on Instagram. You need to comment on that. Now, I've got a brand new sting. It's time for this. Patreon Live. Yeah, Patreon. It's fucking lit at the moment. We've got new eps, content going up every day. I got to say this. If I was using Patreon back when I had a girlfriend, I would still be with her because she used to listen to all of my podcasts and then I'd get home and face the Spanish Inquisition. So shout out to her, sliding doors, babe. If Patreon was around, you'd probably have a ring on your finger. But it wasn't. So I don't know. This is like an open letter now to my ex-girlfriend. What is going on? Who is incidentally Carol. But yeah, Patreon's going really well. We've got the single ladies dancing video with Dave Hughes and Ed Cavalier. They tried to buy it off me during the week. They offered $450. I declined that offer. And I've actually got another media company trying to buy it off me. So shall I read you a bit of the email? Hi, my name is Beep, entertainment journalist with Beep. Hope you're well. I heard you on the radio with Hughesy and Ed the other day mentioning that you had a video of yourself, Dave Hughes, and Ed Cavalier performing the Beyonce Single Ladies video. We're interested in acquiring the video. We have a budget that we can use. Let me know if you're interested in selling the video and we can chat further. Many thanks. And I said, yep, nice to hear from you. I'm interested in selling. What's your budget? She's come back with $200. We can offer you $200 and we can do a profile piece in our publication that will be shared across all social media platforms plus our website. Let me know if I can give you a call. So I've gone back with, hey, Beep, I have another offer which is a bit higher. Can you get to $350 or even $300? Happy to do article, etc. So that's where it's at the moment. I don't have another offer, but I think that $350 or $300 will work an absolute treat because I want $300. Even though Hughesy offered $450, I want $300 because then I get the news article too. So I'll give you an update on that. If you want to see it live, it's on patreon.com/Ash Williams Show. Also, final Patreon plug. We've got a Mother's Day episode dropping this Sunday with my mum. You sent in questions. The best 10 to 15 questions made it to the podcast. That episode is now on Patreon. I'll put it on the weekend. You know what? I'm going to play you a snippet right now. I love this question from Mark Litton. Now, this is a bit of a cheeky question, Mum. It's from Mark Litton.
Hi, Mark.
Federer, Nadal, and Djokovic. You've got to fuck one, marry one, kill one.
I'll marry Federer. I'll forget about the other two things he said.
No, so you marry Federer, then you've got to have sex with either Nadal or Djokovic, and the other one is killed.
Oh no, that's too horrible.
It's not for real.
Not
it's just a game.
I know, but no.
I haven't got Federer,
there.
Nadal, and Djokovic here waiting for your answer.
No, I'll just go. I like Federer and Nadal. Djokovic is okay, but
sounds like Djokovic is going to get the firing squad. And during the week, I called some Patreons to let them know which celebrities were in the bushes at Splendor in the Grass.
No way. Really? That's very good. What a wonderful world we live in.
Man, that's fucking huge.
You like that?
I'm all about that. That's massive.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Big scoop.
Yeah, big scoop, pardon the pun. I'm sure they scooped the shit out of each other in the bushes. All right, let's get into the podcast. Really quick, I played tennis yesterday and I loved what I heard. I heard a dad and his 10-year-old son playing a set, and the son yelled out to his dad and said, "It's not very fair when your own dad is cheating." And the dad turned around and said, "Son, life's not fair." And then the 10-year-old kid's shoulders slumped. And he's dragging his racket back to the advantage side to return serve. And at that point, the dad had beaten him. You know, it's not fair that the dad had to resort to cheating to beat his 10-year-old son, but a win's a win. A win is a win. And that 10-year-old boy has got a lot of growing up to do. Now let's get into Carol and Paul, okay? I don't want to spend too much time on Carol. We know she's a straight shooter. I do feel bad about this. So on the weekend, I got a message from Carol saying, I heard your little program and I'm not impressed. I thought we were friends. And look, I did everything I could to make sure Carol couldn't hear. I didn't post the podcast on Facebook. I don't know how she heard it, but I feel bad. I've apologized. And Carol's a nice woman. Okay, so Carol, I apologize again. I wish you the best. Sorry you got caught up in the scoopla. But one person who I'm not sorry to is Paul. Paul is up to his old tricks. He's still messaging me every 10 minutes. So it's going on 7 to 9 days. 9 days now, Paul's been hard as a cricket ball. I'm going to read you some of the messages, then we're going to call Paul. I actually got a message too on Patreon. This is interesting. What do you think about this? This is from Mark Brennan. If people keep asking about Paul, maybe if you hit a certain amount on Patreon per month, you will meet him. Okay, I get what you're trying to say there, Mark. Yeah, so if there's a certain amount on Patreon per month, then I'll go and meet Paul. You know what? I'll do that. If we can get to 200 Patreons, I will personally meet Paul at the hotel. But what I will do is rig the whole room before Paul comes over with cameras. Everywhere. Audio through the wazoo. 200 Patreons, I will do that. I actually enjoy doing this stuff. I've been getting a lot of messages from people saying, I'm worried about you. You know, this guy, Paul, is not to be messed with. But you know what? It makes me feel alive to be doing this virtual dance with Paul. And for that, I thank him. Let's get some messages from Paul. This is from yesterday. Do you still want to get together? All right. We can talk about it. Paul writes, okay, I do like you. When we get a hotel room, do you want to have sex? Didn't write back to that. Paul wrote, hello, babe. And 2 hours later, you got any nude pics? And then I just texted him about an hour ago, said, I'll call you in an hour. And he's texted back, love you. So let's give him a call. Okay, no answer there from Paul. We will try Paul again. We know it takes a few times to get a hold of Paul. Let's get your texts and your voicemails. So many texts coming through on the hotline. We're going to actually have to do a separate episode just for your texts, but thank you for texting through. Ash, any news on the hot dog stand that you bankrupted? I'm still very concerned. Yeah, they're still out of business. That's for sure. But nothing to do with us. I've reached out to the owner. He was a great guy, still is. And I wish them all the best for their future endeavours. If you are listening to this, Melbourne Hot Dog Stand, get back in contact, leave a voicemail. Love to see where you're at these days. You were the first or second founding sponsor of the show some 2 years ago. So we wish you all the best. Still think you do the best hot dogs in town, even if they're from your house. Delicious. Another text. Ash, I'm a new listener via Sizzletown and Team Effort. Currently working my way through the back catalogue of episodes. Did you ever end up selling any spinal ease pillows? I'm keen. if I can get a deal. I am fired up. MSN. Cheers, Andrew. I can tell you right now that the Spinal Ease pillows, along with the Anal Ease injectables, are no longer a partner of the show, but reach out to them. They're still a great pillow. Spinaleze.com.au. That's a free shout out. Shout out. It's a free shout out for Spinal Ease pillows. Fire up. They don't even answer our calls. That's the kind of podcast we are. Another text here. Yeah, private number is #31# before dialing. Thank you very much for that. Got another text here. Ash, how the fuck are ya? I hope you're well. It's Come Teeny Mitch. After listening to your latest podcast, Better Call Paul, I was distressed to hear another Mitch calling in to leave a voicemail, then refusing to answer your calls. I want to clear up any Mitch-based confusion for your listeners. I would never refuse your call. That was an imposter, Mitch. Clearly not fired up. Moreover, I can provide more cum-based recipes for your fans who are that way inclined. I think Paul is our key demographic here. Cheers, mate. Keep pumping out the content. Well, thank you very much there, Mitchie. The Cumtini, of course, if you want to make it, it's 1 shot of vodka, 1 shot of Kahlua, 1 shot of Makona, and 1 shot of cum. I'm just thinking, that actually wouldn't taste that bad. That wouldn't taste that bad. Here's something for you as well. A Patreon plug. Patreon plug. I will drink my own Cumtini if we get 200 Patreons. You know, I've basically drunk my own cum anyway. You know, I've definitely tasted like an hors d'oeuvre of it. I don't mind the taste. I'm going to tell you that. Do not mind the taste. I'd go as far to say as I enjoy the taste. Yeah. Anyway, we're all learning something about each other. I just learned that I like to drink my own cum. I guess who's just messaged? Right on cue, it's Paul. Let's just finish out your text. We've got a voicemail here, then we're going to finish the show with Paul.
G'day, Ash. I just heard the Better Call Saul episode, and you need to go straight to the police station and give them Paul's phone number. He is weirdo, and no one's safe while he's out and about. Fire up.
Yeah. There's a perfectly timed voicemail from whoever that was. Well, without further ado, we're going to call Paul. Should we call Paul? We'll find out after this call. There are so many more texts. You know what? We're going to do a hotline episode this week that are just texts and voicemails because there's actually way too many. So you know what time it is? We better call Paul. I'm having a drink of Macones. Fire up.
Hey, yeah, John.
Yeah, good.
Hi.
Good.
Yeah, you've been last 2 days busy, eh?
Yeah, sitting bored.
Bored, yeah.
You into doing push-ups?
Oh, I only weigh about 43 kilos.
Hang on.
You
weigh 43 kilos?
Yeah.
Wow, how tall are you?
I'm only a short guy, probably 5'4". I'm only short.
I was dating a girl once who was 5'4", 43 kilos.
Yeah.
I like those stats.
Really? Yeah.
I wanted to talk about the message you wrote with the hotels. You know, when you wrote, when you get a hotel, do you want to have sex? What do you reckon?
If you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. See what happens.
Yeah.
See what happens.
See what happens.
Yeah, like when you're on Neighbours, that was good. One of my friends, he's going on the Neighbours tour in November.
Yeah.
He goes, I hope that goes ahead still because if these restrictions, I'm going to have to cancel because he likes a few of them down there on Neighbours. And he goes, oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, he wants to get his hands on a few of the Neighbours cast, huh?
Oh, yeah, a few of them, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I get it, mate. Yeah, I actually have their home addresses too, so tell him to reach out to me. Tim Robards or something like that. Be nice, you know, just for your mate to turn up on Tim Robards' doorstep or Rob Mills' doorstep and just say, see what happens.
I'll see what I can do.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Mate, I like it. Mate, it's fantastic because obviously my character on Neighbours was a gay stripper and I hurt his back when he was stripping.
Yeah, Yeah, he likes Aaron. He goes, oh, Aaron's pretty good. And he goes, yeah. Yeah, David, no, not too good, but Aaron's all right.
Yeah, Aaron's good.
Yeah, okay, whatever you reckon.
Aaron's a great kisser, man. I kissed him on Neighbours a lot.
A lot?
Oh, yeah, man. We did open tongue, open mouth, all that kind of stuff.
What was his girlfriend think of that? She probably wouldn't have liked it, would it?
Oh, well, mate, we were just acting. I mean, I wasn't, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yeah. But, you get... It's work, I suppose.
It's work,
It's
mate.
the way you go.
Oh,
But then people might think, so who cares?
Yeah, I mean, you see what happens. You turn up on set.
All good?
Yeah, mate. And what you texted me too yesterday. You said you got any nudes?
Oh, yeah. You probably have, haven't you?
Oh, man, I got a few. What are you into? What's?
I've never done much, really. So, just see what happens, I suppose.
See what happens. Yeah.
I might get to actually add you on Facebook so you can talk. He's a nice guy.
Oh, no,
he's
just
all right.
no. Let's just keep it like private for now, and then we'll you know what I mean?
Yeah, because he's always home by himself, and he always wants me to find someone to go to the house. Because his dad goes to his girlfriend, and he's home by himself for about 4 days a week, and he's always trying to get me to find someone. I said, if I can find one that's got a car, you can go to your house, because he doesn't drive either.
What do you mean find someone? Just find a guy to go round?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And you want me to go round?
And he goes, well, I'll see what I can do, all right. Well, maybe I'll see what I can do, all right. But
hang on, am I going around to house now too?
No, well, if you want to.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't even know.
No,
So,
that's all right.
do you know what I mean? So
Because he doesn't tell anybody anyway. He doesn't tell anybody about what he does or anything. So.
why don't you and hook up?
No, I asked him about it. No, he goes, I'm not tired. I said, okay. Whatever. We'll just be friends and we talk. I was just talking to him a while ago anyway. So I said, we'll see what happens.
See what happens.
But I did say I was talking to you, but he wouldn't tell anybody anyway because he knows. He knows.
Keep it under your belt there, and
absolutely.
And mate, we'll chat soon, huh?
All right then.
No
Have a good day. All right.
You too.
All right. Take care. Bye.
All right. There it is. We're getting into some pretty fucking dicey territory, that's for sure. We probably need a lawyer, I would say. So we're getting really close to needing a full-time fucking lawyer. I reckon we need a lawyer on the pod who sits there with a microphone now and just goes, nope, delete that. And that is the podcast. Of course, for anything extra, Paul messages, Ash and Ed episodes, Mum episodes, it's patreon.com/Ash Williams Show. Thank you so much for listening. The hotline 0406 284 954. This podcast is heading in the right direction. This is the Ash Williams Show. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye-bye. The Ash Williams Show is recorded in front of a live studio audience. But due to coronavirus, there's no audience, so you can't hear the laughs.